Again, hi everybody, I'm Chris Haskell, and we are kicking this CVR World Cup race Zone F for the men off right now. And here we go. They're leaving without me, but guess what? I'm not going with them. I'm only taking the camera crew, and we're hopping on the back of your bike, and we're racing with you right now in Watopia, the coolest, if a little bit economically out of balance, virtual world for bike racing. There are a lot of caveats there, I realize, but come with me. Come with me for the next 45 minutes and answer the question that is on the tip of your tongue. Who in the world is going to win this race? A little bit more about it as we continue down the road, but I'm, again, your host, Chris Haskell. I think I mentioned that. Let's talk just a little bit about the course that we're going to go on today. It is one lap of the Watopia Figure 8. Lots of twists, lots of turns, lots of uphill, and a little bit, not enough for my taking, downhill. 29.8 kilometers. That's 18.4 miles to you. I like to weigh myself in kilograms, so hopefully we can just enjoy the mileage and the kph today. Now, elevation gain is about 770 feet. It doesn't sound like an awful lot, but it comes in some really tight moments. Also, this is going to be about 45 minutes to an hour, depending on what happens. We'll give you as much of the A, the B, the C race as we possibly can, and maybe even some of the women's scores as well. So let's jump into the action and see what's going on in the field. Now, we're on board over the shoulder of the big group here. Now, a lot of these names you'll know. Weideman. You know what? We also saw a guy who raced not that long ago, Casey Shum, also in this group for Team X. A little bit more about the teams in a second. We've got Sean Rogers in there as well, Scott Crooks, a lot of them. Weideman also in that group, as I just mentioned, and of course, Lyons. Many of these guys associated with other teams. We'll give you some of those also in just a little bit. Now here's what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. A lot of folks are going to think they've got a lot of strength, a lot of power, and they're going to claim to want to attack this group. They're going to get pulled back very quickly. It's not going to go very far, and that's just the way the first part of this is going to go. It's nice and flat coming under the ocean here, and it's not going to change a whole lot. You'll get somebody like this a little bit off the front, but they're gonna dial it back here, and the group is going to pull them back proper. Huggy Bear's not going to let that go. Vittoria Racing's not going to let that go. By the way, that's too long of a team name. Your name never populates unless you are solo off the back, and then it scans forward. But these folks want to keep it nice and high. They want to stay near the front. They want to make sure nothing crazy. Well, my goodness, there's the St. Kilda kit. We haven't seen that in a while. That's coming out of the bottom of the locker, probably pretty stinky as well. The idea here is that they're going to just go under the sea here, under the sea. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter, under the sea. For a little while, they're going to come up and out and get really dusty. Still not a lot of fireworks happening for a while. It's pretty flat. They'll come through the marina. It'll climb up and around a little bit. Then they'll end up on a semi-flat surface. They'll cross a bridge. They'll pass a cute little corner store called Hank's. And then they will hit the first climb. It's the long climb, the back side of the climb, the reverse climb here on Watopia Island, not the KOM, not the super elite mountain climbing. We're not doing that one this time. This is the figure 8, so it's just a little bit of climbing, but that is going to be where the difference starts to happen. There are a lot of folks that are just hanging on here that aren't going to be around very soon. They're going to join us in a little party off the back. At that point, we'll cross Hanks, and that's when it'll happen. You'll notice we're getting to Hub Island here, also known as Jarvis Island, because this big tree we're passing under, Jarvis Tree, as it's sometimes called, is a holdout from the original Jarvis Island that was the original source. I remember first time I saw someone on Zwift, it actually showed them on the real Jarvis Island in the South Pacific, and I'm like, man, what are you doing out there? It took me a while to realize that they were just using the geography and the what do you call the darn thing? The details of Jarvis Island, the GPS to create the image, and Strava picked it up and placed them on the real Jarvis Island, although no one ever traveled there. All right, a little bit of a push as we're coming up and out. This is starting to get exciting. Huggy Bear saying, I want to test what my legs will do. The Domestique drafting as the Domestique should in the back. Ignacio, the Vision Rider, hanging in there as well. Gil, the Canadian, on the back. Now, we have a few folks wearing the same Bikes and Beer jersey. We'll see if they are going to work together. PacelineDesigns.com is putting in a shameless plug for themselves right there. That's a whole lot of pink on your kit, sir. We'll allow it for this one and this one only. Ignacio slides a little bit further back in the field, and we start to see Lions slide up front. Now, I think we're going to see Lions do quite a bit here in the next little bit. There are many things going on in this race. We'll tell you about this big event that we're hosting or enjoying right now. This is the CVR preseason to CVR League. You're familiar, I hope, with the CVR World Cup Series. They've been in Las Vegas and Paris and London and Dubuque, Iowa. No, we made that last one up. There was a little something in Raleigh, North Carolina, a CVR type event, one of the very first, but testing out this idea of doing virtual bike racing live, on stage, esports. We'll talk more about esports in a minute. Boy, are you writing all these down? All these things we're going to talk about in a minute? We might as well have open a little to-do list of everything that we've got to talk about. But the CVR rankings, which you can visit very easily, the Cyclogent virtual rankings at cyclogentrankings.com. You'll find the leaders that I'm about to show you. These leaders are in the, some of them in the field right now. You've got folks like Tom Grimshaw, Tim Cartwright, who I've seen race and called his race live before, Kyle Augustin, Wang Ice, Jonathan Levy, Marcin Krasonski. All of his letters are not there. Alexander Boson, Adam Zimmerman, Matthew Drujon, and Carl Smith are the top 10 right now in the World Cup leagues in the men's A. And we're excited to have some of them racing even today as they earn points, as they all do, as they come into these races and they duke it out with people from all over the world. Look at these flags. You'll tell what's going on in the time zones right about now. You've got Canada and the U.S. You've got Great Britain. It's a little bit late, but you know what? If that's when you can get on the bike and race hard, that's when you do it. Well, lots of interesting things to play out. Now, as you'll remember, I mentioned that there would be some excitement coming up. They would pass through this section. We're going to do another left-hand turn here, come back across. These are switchbacks, but at 1 to 2%. They're not hard switchbacks, but just enough maybe to start getting people to trickle off the back. I don't want to scan too far down here, because we are seeing riders pop in and out, a little bit of a bug that John Mayfield and the crew at Zwift HQ have to fix, certainly if we're going to get a beautiful event like we hope to today. And so we're going to stay with this group here, to stay right in this main group. Demers, Allen, the Brain, also in this group. We're going to find out more about that when we check out some of these other rankings as well. Now, the idea is that it's going to be interesting for just a little bit here. Lions, Rogers, a lot of these names that you know well who do a lot of this afternoon and evening U.S. racing are in this group. Eastern time zone, this is around dinner time. 5 o'clock or just before dinner time, they're going to get their big effort into the day, and it's happening right here at CVR World Cup League. We are just about to come across the bridge here, and as we fly overhead, we'll give you the nice wide view here, and a little helicopter. Also, we see the group nice and tight. They come around this right-hand corner, and you're going to see the bridge. The bridge is not where the action happens. It's 3%, yes, right here, but it flattens out a little bit to a nice, comfortable 0. You see it up here in the corner. You know what the elevation is, but as they come across this bridge, they're going to be able to see Hanks in the distance, and Hanks is going to make all the difference. This is where the first big effort is going to come. This is not the sharpest climb. It's not the most painful climb. It's just the first climb. And it happens to be the longest climb that we're going to see all day. It peaks up, those of you who know this racing well, it peaks up around the statues as you turn right. It hits about 15%. We just crossed the line past Hanks, a service station that does not need to actually service vehicles because there are no vehicles on Watopia Island. Long-standing tradition here, brought into legislation circa 2015. When the island was created, risen from the ocean from John Mayfield and the rest of the Code Monkeys. Big push on the front here by Wiedemann. We're going to see if anybody is going to try to pull that back. You know what? This is not the time where things are going to blow up completely, but they definitely want to stay connected enough to what's going on so that Huggy Bear, the WECC rider, does not get too far off the front. This is a little spot of danger if you are a heavier rider, and that's not a fat joke. It's just the truth. Your watts will not do as much of a job against your kilos on a spot like this. Now, you can haul you-know-what on the flats, but this is going to be more trouble for you in the climb. And it looks like our guy Kaiser is a little bit in the box. We're starting to see a gap form up front. This could get dangerous. We do not want to see the bad news come down the pipe for these guys. Ignacio, the Vision Racer, is up there in the front. CogZ rider, Mr. Brown, also there. PacelineDesigns.com. Shameless plug is his new name, hanging in there also in that group. As we focus on this lead group of riders, we start to see a gap develop. Our guy Allen was in that group. Now he is 3 seconds back. Lyons, 5 seconds back, unable to hold on to this main group. Maybe pulled the wrong power up. I think in this time it was the anchor. You don't ever want to play the anchor power up because that will slow you down. Don't do it. Like, I've never seen that one. No, it's just for me. My anchor power ups come out almost every time. Now, the brain sitting there on the front, trying to just, well, Crooks actually, just stringing it out a little bit. This is not the time where you're going to get a real break unless you think that the big hitters are trapped behind. But that's a good reason to throw out an attack, either for your teammate or for yourself, just to see if you can put some people in some hurt. If you're a better climber, especially long climbs, then maybe this is your chance. Very interesting strategy coming out for the Canadian rider at this point. Ignacio with that Cuban flag right there on the front as well. Interesting flags here. I may have to actually pull out my almanac or dig through my 8th grade term paper to figure out if that was the country that I did the term paper on. Was it Ecuador? Was it Ghana? Oh, no, it was French Ghana. That's the one that I had to do in 8th grade. I don't see that flag present here. That's okay. Now, the brain, the FCC rider also in there, not the Federal Communication Commission. Otherwise, I'd have been shut down a long time ago. We are digging in here. Hey, thanks for joining us, you folks on YouTube. Thank you also for joining us on that new little device. I believe it's called Facebook. In fact, I'd love to know your predictions in this group. Who's going to come out on top? Who is going to get spit out the back? We'll find out pretty soon here if anybody doesn't make it over this climb. Now, as we come back to the race and we look over the shoulder of our guy Brown here, we see that right on his wheel, Kaiser manages to pull himself. No, it's Brown who's on the back. Kaiser is long gone. Big fan of NSYNC singing Bye Bye Bye. Comes off the back, 19 seconds, 21 seconds. It continues to go up. Now, Brown, the CogZ rider, is sporting quite a bit of gray hair. Not sure if that's accurate or not, but we're going to leave him briefly and jump to the front of this. But you do see Lyons, Allen, Rogers, and Barrows all come through with those thumbs up, meaning they did something special on there, probably a new PR. We've got a break that happened just before we came up over the top, and this is dangerous. You cannot make up ground on the downhill against a group. That is a law of physics. Newton proved it. That was his law. You cannot overcome gravity with a larger group, especially if those folks are wearing Bikes and Beers jerseys. Now, this group with Huggy Bear, Holderman, Hall, do you sense a trend here? Did they meet ahead of time and they said, sorry, Vittoria, but it's not alliterated, so you can't come with us? I think that's what happened. We'll find out more. This just in, our sideline reporter saying, in fact, that is what happened. So we'll print it. Huggy Bear, just a little bit of a kick off the front. We're seeing some riders jump in and out here. Hopefully we can stick on the rider we've got and not lose contact with the field. So far, so good. As we come around to finish this first segment. It's not the first lap, it's just the first segment, and we'll get you some of those details momentarily. I'll jump in and tell what's going on our Facebook. We want to find out what's happening in the CVR live stream. I'll make sure to not pollute the sound with the sound of myself twice. No, I'll do that later when I do my own beatbox loop rendition of some cool stuff. Very cool. We've got some live streams happening right now as I look around. There we go. Very, very cool. Lots of good stuff happening on the CVR page right now. Thank you for joining us there. We'll check out the World Cup page as well. Interesting. Very, very interesting. If you've not seen one of these events, gosh, we got to show you some cool live racing from the last little bit. We'll get it up there so that you can enjoy it, have some fun from Paris, from London, and some of those other ones. So I'm going to check in real quick to Zwift Power and see if we can get some standings here. I'm not able to get the CVR live rankings to come up perfectly, but maybe I can get them in just a second here. That would be real nice. There's our Zone F men. We can see it. We'll check out our live racing button. Has not yet populated. Maybe I've got to click my login to get my live, and I don't. We'll abandon it for the moment. Today, 1500. Yeah, this is live for us. Well, we'll swing back on it in just a second. Maybe it takes just a little longer to load those live settings than previously. Now, no live settings yet. There we go. So as we check into these, it looks like this is our group right now. A couple of people I'm surprised have missed this cut are evident in the field here. Now, and I'm talking about Zimmerman specifically, but they are only 4 seconds behind chasing this group. They're going to make the catches. They come through the S's here. You saw they came through the long section there in front of the big city. Don't see a lot of traffic in the big city. Everyone in the big city of Zwift, Watopia Central, Honolulu City, it's very Honolulu-like. Those folks, they all bike commute. Have not spotted the residential neighborhood. Maybe we're about to come up on it right now. Maybe coming up here as we come through what we've affectionately begun to call Sprint Town. I suppose people could live up on the mountain in the Swiss Village. That's a place where people could hang out. But this stage of the race, again, we've got about 10 miles left to go, about 25 to 30 minutes of racing left, and 2 big honkin' climbs. Shameless plug sitting on the front right now, gets a little bit of a dig. That's the right time to do it, shameless plug, to get off the front. I'm a little bit scared to click on you. I've seen you hop in and out. I got to stick on my my trustworthy folks. He attacks just as the group bridges together, which is going to be the right time to do it psychologically, because you've got folks that definitely want to be able to rest a little bit. And when that group comes together, that's the right time to attack, because the softies, as they're known in the biz, get kicked out the back a little bit. I know, because I've had that name called to me many times. Softy. Ooh, and he comes through and gets a nice finish. It's not the best finish of the day. It's the 11th best of the day, and he's going to get pulled back. I don't think he was going for a jersey there. He wanted to see if he could get some wreckage off the back, and you know what? He did. He actually kicked off Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, you'll remember, was in that lead group just a little while ago, tail gunning, that fabulous position in the back of the field, but he has moved off the back now and is no longer there. We do have a number of really strong folks, but none of our series leaders at this point in that field, right? So as we look across the World Cup League rankings, Grimshaw, Cartwright, Augustin, Ice, and Levy right there at the front. Five, and we'll give you those details again in just a second. Krasnowski, Boson, Zimmerman, and Drujan, and Smith, round out that top 10. Great racers. If you're just joining us, quite a few things going on here. We are doing a fabulous race here. This is one lap of the Watopia Figure 8, distance of just under 30 kilometers, just under 18 and a half miles, and we are almost 10 miles again in. We're past the halfway point, friends, and that is exciting to see. So as we get ready to make this big right-hander onto the big flat section, we're going to see the last opportunity for a few of these chasing riders to get firmly entrenched in the group before the big climb. And you can burn quite a few matches just trying to get back into the main group here. But they may be doing it as we speak. We'll take a quick look behind the riders here, and we can see, oh, there we are on shamelessplug.com, still hanging in this group. You know what, though? If you were going to do some cool stuff, you know what? Hey, Paceline Designs, nice job. You should sponsor this broadcast. I can put you in touch with the right people, that'd namely be my wife, and I'll wear the shamelessplugdesigns.com jersey on the air. Well, we'll see. That under other contract stipulations, we'll talk about it. But this could be what's happening. Now, we're getting ready for some excitement to happen here. Oh, I know what the problem is. We need to agree to some terms and conditions, and then we'll be able to see these live results. That is pretty exciting. Okay. We are, I got to get on this site a little bit more. Maybe I need to also ride a little bit more. There we go. Now I can give you some fabulous stats. Wait for it. Almost there. Yes, we got them. Live results coming. So, excuse me. Billy Holt, Juan Ignacio, the Vision Rider, Christian, well, oh my goodness, this is the same one that I thought it was. Give you a little bit, little more details about Christian Wiedemann in just a minute. Adam Zimmerman, Team Draft, Sean Crooks, Caillou Law, Christopher Gill, Justin Holderman, Super Domestique, all at the front of this race. This is a pretty impressive group. Huggy Bear Williams also in that top 10. We'll see how it's going to shape up here to the end. Now, we are coming up on one of the more difficult sections, as we've talked before. The big piece that we've got to look at here is we're going to come across this section. We've just passed through the marina. We're going to take a big left-hander right here at the wind turbines powering all of Watopia Island. True story. and trying to just hold on for a little bit. Not a lot of big movement here at the front currently. There was, of course, that big move. It did not stick. This group has gotten a little bit smaller. Is it 10 deep now? That's a good question. Got to double check it myself. It is 10 deep currently. That's a good sign. I say a good sign because it's a handy thing to know that there are going to be quite a few people vying. It's why you should stay, because you don't know who it's going to be. Christian, strong rider, is one of those guys we expect to see at the front. Now, our racers here are going to give us just a little bit more. I'm going to try to bring up these stats for you more regularly and give you what you really would like to be able to see in this lead group. These are quite a few. Boy, Juan Ignacio Ahamunda Alguin. That is not. We're just going to call you Juan Ignacio now. We'll get Nathan Guerra on here promptly to teach us exactly how to say his teammate's name. That would be nice to have him do that for us. Christian Wiedemann, of course, Team X. From Team Draft, Adam Zimmerman also in this group. Sean Crooks also in this group. Very strong rider, does many things. I believe I called him Scott Crooks a moment ago, but he'll forgive me for that, mostly because he loves me so much. Super Domestique, a man after my own heart, from Team Draft, also in this group. Let's just take a quick peek at who some of these leaders are right now. Actually, let me just give this to you. Lead group. We'll prepare these details live, and we'll take them live for you to see. We'll fix that real quick. This is where it starts to happen. Oh, it looks like Holderman trying to get off the front, and not a lot of action from the group. 4.6 watts per kilo. That's a push, but that's not hammering it for these guys. There you go. Holt, Ignacio, Wiedemann, Zimmerman, Sean Crooks, Huggy Williams, and of course good old Super Domestique in that lead group. Let's see if it changes a little bit in the next mile or so, but I don't think it is. I think what we're going to see is the rest of that group come back to the big finish. And very interesting, as we get ready, this is the worst part of the course in my humble opinion. All of my opinions are humble. That's important to point out as well. This group of, it looks like 11, 10 are all together, but we're getting a little bit of a push, a little separation. Sean Crooks forced to cover that distance to pull our leader back. Holderman another full second up, trying to just test the legs. This is not where you want to start entering your NOS can of rage. They're going to take a left-hand turn, and they're going to climb the hill. Hilly forward at that point in this well, and it doesn't help that we're going to hit this section either. You hit that hilly forward section, and that's when really the climbers and the winners come out to play. If this were a completely flat course, it might change how that's going to happen. On board with Mr. Crooks here, doing a nice job, just staying in that front group. Huggy Bear, Zimmerman, Gill is the next guy, but then it's a minute and 11 seconds to that next chase group, and I'll give you some of those names in just a moment. We come by this group here. Overhead, you see that they're nice and tight, a compact group, Grupo Compacto, if you want to speak the cycling language. Hey, by the way, I, from a dear friend, got the Voluminati handbook. I can read to it from you, all except for, I think it's Rule 5? Rule 5. Rule 8? You know the one I'm talking about, the one about hardening up. We'll leave that for another time. But I'm going to dig into that book. It's going to be a nice book. This, if you are just joining us, is the the F group that's going to be taking place here in our race. We've got one more. I'll call that one as well this afternoon, this evening. we'll get that one on course as well. This is fun. This league stuff is fun. We'll get more data to you as we go. This is, of course, just lap 1. Nothing that exciting to see here, except everything that's about to happen. And it's going to get serious here. They're coming up to the hill, and this is where the real separation is likely going to come. Who's going to stay in and who's going to drop? It looks like we've already dropped a couple. Huggy Bear says, I got to get up the hill first. Huggy Bear Williams, and he is going to do his best to just put in a big dig. Now, as a heavier rider, and he is a heavier rider, I take that back. No, I stand by that. Justin Holderman is the heaviest rider left in this group at 81.6 kilos, a man after my own heart. Only problem is he's about 3 feet taller than I am, so he distributes that a little bit better. But as the guns come out, Zimmerman moves to the front, and we get some fireworks. Zimmerman saying, I want to get to the front of this. Zimmerman, as you know, Adam Zimmerman, is a lighter rider, 59 kilograms, shorter man, but he can put down the power. His average watts so far on this ride, 254 watts. I can do 254 watts, but I don't weigh 59 kilos. You can pull out your iPhone or ask Alexis if that's, or Google if what exactly that is in American numbers. But Domestique coming to the front as well. That's Super Domestique. We'll find out a little bit more about the Super here in just a little bit. Concerning not connecting their Strava, this is the International Man of Mystery. Probably going to be DQ'd if they're not kind of tied in there. As we look in his view, Zimmerman looks to come around but hasn't yet. Zimmerman hanging on to the wheel. We're starting to see the separation. This is where it's gonna get big. Huggy Bear going in the wrong direction, not able to hang on. Holderman now also coming in the wrong direction. These guys come up and over, and as they pass, you've got one guy, the Brain, hanging on to the back of that, trying to survive it. Is the Brain a Caillou Law? Maybe. Maybe. We'll find out just a little bit more about that rider in a minute. Anybody can change their names. It gets crazy up in here. That is the truth. Some great kits in the group. We've got bikes and beers. We've got bicicleta. I love that one. I love to see the Spanish language jerseys in there as well. The Zwift. Interesting choice of bikes today. This is not one dominated by these people who've been crazy forever mountain climbers. There is our first Zwift experimental in the group. But that is the only one that has made the cut at this point. These are our 5 riders. We'll give them to you in just a second. These are our guys. Oh my goodness. Paceline Designs, we're going to figure out which one you are, maybe by process of elimination. Super Domestique makes it into the group and happens to get up and over. Oh, and makes a big move, Super Domestique. Here's the name call. Billy Hull tries to get up there. Hull trying to just close that gap. Everyone else trying to sit on his wheel. That's the right way to do it, shamelessplug.com. You want to get on the wheel of the fast guy, especially someone like Hull, who is going to be up at the front, right? Billy Hull is a slightly wider rider. Hey, it's Christmas season. We can say that. 64.4 kilograms. Riding his smart trainer. We'll find out just a little bit more about him right now. He is doing a lot of races these days, doing the CVR World Cup race right now. Looks like also did the women's race. Not sure that adds up, but I wasn't a math major, but we'll figure it out as well. This could just be a simple simple Zwift power anomaly that sometimes comes up when events are listed together, or it could be some terrible, here he goes again, Zimmerman attacking over the top, 12 watts per kilo. You wanted to know what I was going to say. I was going to say conspiracy theory. That's true. That is not what's happening here. Zimmerman sees the opportunity to get away and asks who wants to come with me, and it looks like shamelessplug.com also comes with him, and now we've got a gap of 3 seconds back to Billy. That is not insurmountable on a downhill, but it forces him to do a little bit more work. Now you look at these two. Zimmerman with a cagey move rings the bell at 12 watts per kilo. That's fast. By my measurement or yours, that's super fast. Comes across the top and then says, hey, shameless plug, go ahead and dig here and keep this gap while I rest a little bit on your wheel. 4 watts a kilo coming down a little bit. These guys are probably going to be able to catch, but it's going to cause them to do about 30 seconds extra of hard work. And when you are able to remove things from the tank like that, it gets a little bit harder. It gets harder to stay in that group. It gets harder to just hang in there. Hey, if you're joining us, I'm Chris. You probably figured that out by now. Maybe I should throw a little placard up. But you are joining us for Zone F of the Cyclogent World Cup League that's happening right now in Zwift. This is exciting stuff. We're glad to have you here with us, and it's fun to have you in the world. We're doing one lap of Watopia Figure 8 today. Every zone is doing it, and these are your 5 leaders. Exciting to see what's happening on the course, and it looks like Domestique is truly getting away. They're not going to catch him unless they work together. 6.5 watts per kilo, that doesn't seem right, and maybe it isn't. Again, I'm not a math major, but we'll check out those details in a little bit. A 59.9 kilo rider, and getting a little bit of a gap. 8 seconds there, holding 5-1. Heart rate is pretty high. This could be accurate, and doing it himself, but nobody comes with him this time, and that is a concern to the group. Now, this group is coming across here. And exciting. Let's see what we've got. You will have to forgive me. As I try to type here to give you some cool stuff in the details. We'll eventually pull this down. I've got to believe that that Christian is our super chase here, but Super Domestique on the front and doing a nice turn. So there is your leader, Super Domestique, with just a few seconds now off the front, and your chase Juan Ignacio, Wiedemann, Zimmerman, et al. Now, if you are just joining us, we are coming up to the last mile and a half, and this is where the action is going to happen. Super Domestique on the front here. That is, I believe, Mike Cabignon, who is chasing there, wearing that other name that Paceline Designs. Come on, Mike. Help us out here. Mike also in that chase group. We'll give you this final lineup here momentarily. I think we're going to have it in the semi-finalized form in just a moment. But our guy is coming he's coming up this hill. You can see right over his shoulder what's happening behind him. The Super Domestique is running away with this F Division Men's A race. Now, we're not done calling this race, but we definitely are seeing this group pull him back. Hull on the front here. I didn't even include him in the graphic because I thought he was off the back. That is not a good sign for your boy, but that is an absolute sign of disrespect. And he said, I'm not going to let you treat me like that, Mr. Commentator, who doesn't even put his name on the screen. I want to see something much, much bigger. And they are going to pull him back. It is only 4 seconds. Hull is going to be that guy. Chris Gill in that group. Also, Stephen Deemers now in that top 10. Mike Cabignon, or Cabagon, we'll figure that spelling out here momentarily. And he is the guy we want to keep an eye on because he's been sitting on the wheel the whole time trying to catch on to the back. But Hull takes the front again and says, I want the Super Domestique back, and I'm going to get him back, folks. And it looks like he is. We see another rider in the list, but that guy is not of consequence. He's not in front. He's so far behind that he's in front. We're starting to see others pop into frame. We're going to stay right here on Hull and see if anyone can come around. Domestique just trying to hang on to this draft and do whatever he can. The Huggy Bear comes around the front with that bald and beard, trying to tell people this is how you do it. Huggy Bear Williams not going to let these guys take away this moment. Except Hull, the American, says, maybe so, fella. So much time to go. It doesn't do you real favors to be on the front at this point in the race because you really want that wheel. And here we're starting to ramp up. Oh my goodness, are we seeing teammates do their thing? Huggy Bear on the wheel there. They're wearing the same Bikes and Beers jersey. Maybe they're teammates, maybe they're not. But it's not for him. PacelineDesigns.com, that is the guy I just mentioned, kidding himself right up there. Maybe a little bit too soon, Hull. You're not going to be able to get all the way to the line there by yourself. Huggy Bear says, though, I want to come with you, and I'm going to come around. We take his view. We look over his shoulder. Is anybody going to come around him? It looks like yes. Zimmerman, Adam Zimmerman, who we have seen race in the real life, comes around 11.5 watts per kilo, and Zimmerman, Hull, and Huggy Bear Williams come across 1, 2, 3 unofficial results at this point. They are definitely in the running for this. We'll step back a little bit. We'll see if we can't climb back into the race a little bit more. Forgive me as I bounce around, but what an exciting finish that was. If you stick around for the next one of these, I may actually try to give you just a little bit of a replay. That's right. Create for you the opportunity for a replay. We're back in this group again. This is another big group. Christian Wiedemann already crossed for Team X. We've got another big group hanging together. We've got Allen and Greensmith. Shape in that group. Rogers wearing his CVR title. Lyons hanging on for dear life. Every color of bike you can imagine, every color of jersey you can imagine. It looks like a Grand Fondo, folks, but it's not. It's going to be a throwdown here at the finish line. And we'll try to get those numbers up to you as soon as we can, getting really, really close. We have our unofficial top 7 at this point. I think I'll be able to give you the top 10, and I can momentarily, and I'll bring it up for you on the screen. We're getting really close to the big finish here, and this is where it all gets exciting. They are about 500 meters out at this point, and it is for real. It is going to throw down right here. My guess is that Mr. Brown is going to recover, and here we go. The big sprint coming across the line. I don't want to steal any of the thunder from what's happening on the screen here, but it is time that we get back to business and get on the front of this race, because these guys are going to show what they're made of right here, right now, and they come across Lyons, Vittoria, Allen, boom, 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 all across the line. Very, very nice big finish. But are they done? I don't believe they are. So many racers. So many people parked on the side of the road. Tough to finish here because, hey, looks like Mr. Weiss there. Always try, also in that group, people finishing up their ride here. We may catch just a couple more of the 70 or so starters that joined us. That would be awful nice. I apologize for having to ping around. Maybe we got our group. Nope, group ride. Oh well. Very, very cool. As we jump out to the beautiful view on the outside here on the island, just enjoying this view, let's give you a sense of the unofficial winners as reported on a number of different sites. will give you these. It does definitely look like our guy Adam Zimmerman is going to come away with the win on this one. I won't give you their teams. I just will give you their awesome names. Billy Hull. I don't want to say it wrong, but I'm gonna. So forgive me. Comes in second place, according to this. The fabulous Huggy Bear Williams, the WEC rider, comes in that third position. Very exciting to see. He really did a nice job kind of delivering some punishment there at the end. As he pulled back Mike Cabignon, who ended up in fourth place. I referred to him regularly as Shameless Plug because he was running his business name as his name, hoping to get it called here. I appreciate, honestly, just the credibility you grant me and this broadcast by putting so much faith in the fact that we could actually get you more purchases. I'm not quite sure that's going to happen, but appreciate the nod nonetheless. Super Domestique, whose name is still a mystery. The man is a mystery. So much we need to find out about Super Domestique. A name that I often go by, not because I do such good work for my team, but rather the fact that I'm always off the back trying to get a pull from the team car. Then the longest name in the peloton today, Juan Ignacio Ahamunda Alguin, the Vision rider. We're just going to call him Juan Ignacio, coming in ninth, just ahead of Christian Wiedemann. And then Steven Diemers, who is so thoughtful and so considerate, he doesn't even capitalize his name. True story, I could not make something like that up. So we have our finalists right here, right now on the screen. I hope you appreciate them. Adam Zimmerman, Billy Hull, Huggy Williams, Mike Cabignon, the Super Domestique, Justin Holderman, Caillou Law, Christian Wiedemann, Juan Ignacio. See, Christian, this is why we can't have nice things. Your name so funky that we actually have to edit out part of it so that everyone will fit on the screen. Oh, know what it was? It was the Vision. That's what messed it up. There we go. And we're all good here. So thank you so much for joining us. This was the F-Flight, F-Zone. Ring, ring to you too, my friends. And we'll catch you here shortly. Excited for the possibility of another race in just a few short hours. That would be 2 hours and 15 minutes time. Get in that race if you watch this one and can stay up that late. Ask your parents if you can stay up and watch that one as well, and we'll entertain you the best we can. I'm Chris. Thanks again for joining me here, and we'll catch you in just a little while. See you soon.